What's up, guys? In the shop today, just wanted to show you our grinding setup. We've made a few changes here recently. We went to Wilmont Grinders and we got another grinder that we set up dedicated just for sharpening. So we're finally going to retire the 1x30 grinder. The 1x30 grinder has been a big one for us. We've sharpened every knife in the last 10 years on a 1x30 Harbor Freight grinder. Best 30 bucks I've ever spent in my life, because I've made more money on that than I can shake a stick at. But it's finally to the point where we really need to upgrade and update. We've used Chris's grinders before. The Wilmont, we've got a horizontal over in the corner that I'll show you, and I've showed you in the past. I've made my own grinders as well, but I'm to the point in business where it makes a lot more sense to buy a quality tool than to build a quality tool oftentimes. So yeah, kudos to Chris. If you haven't checked out Chris's grinders, make sure you do, Wilmont Grinders. But I wanted to show you the sharpening setup. This is kind of a quasi some of my design, and then Chris's grinder attached to my design. So basically, I showed some of this off on Instagram, and may have done a little bit of YouTube, but it's basically a stand for the grinder to mount the grinder to stand up 90 degrees, to stand up vertically. That way you have access to the flat plate up here for sharpening. You got a nice work light that Chris includes with the grinders. You have access to your VFD right there where you sit, and then you sit down here. I still have to do the pad for the seat. It's a little uncomfortable. And then we're using a modified Tormek, not Tormach, Tormek sharpening arm, and it's basically just a clamp with a wedge on the backside for clamping the blade down to it. Works really awesome. I'll grab a Radford blade and kind of give you a rundown on this, but basically the Tormek one, it just, you loosen up your clamp and you tighten down, and voila, now you have a nice setup for that. And then as the camera comes in, you'll be able to see that we set the angle, and I've machined up this bar as part of the work rest so that you basically just run the blade across here, and then you do your tip and you grind it out, and then you flip it over and you do the other side. And the nice part about this grinder setup with this VFD is I just got another forward reverse switch, so I can fire this machine up, vary the speed however fast or slow I want. I can stop it and I can go the other way. Really simple, really easy to set up. So that's something that allows us to come up here and sit down, and now we can sharpen at a really nice ergonomic, like we're not having to like be hunched over the grinder and sharpen, and it's very much like sharpening on a sharpening stone. You can come in here and you can just work both sides, be super comfortable. You'll have your cart here. You set the blade down and you're good to go. Got a nice little spot for one of the rubber wheels to clean off the belt. And then when you're all done, you pull your blade off, you set it in the cart, and we got a pocket down here. You just drop your holder off, and you kind of ride it like a motorcycle. So really cool setup with that. And the nice part of this is with Chris's grinders, how modular they are. This is his triple arm grinder. We mounted it vertically, and all I had to do was build this stand and then utilize the existing screw holes in the bottom to drill and tap into this thick wall tubing, this 3/16 wall 2x3 tubing. And it gave me an awesome, like, super heavy, I mean, this whole machine itself is like 250 pounds. It's a super heavy setup that doesn't vibrate, it doesn't want to walk around the floor, it's on leveling feet. So this is our sharpening setup. Works killer. It's jig, so everything is super consistent. We can get any angle we want to the exact angle, because I know that's been really important lately for you guys who don't know how to freehand sharpen. Learn how to freehand sharpen. I'm really getting tired of telling you guys to do this, because any man should know how to freehand sharpen on a stone. You don't need a silly contraption to sharpen your knives. Learn how to sharpen freehand before you go over to one of these really fancy, really expensive sharpening systems. An edge to work properly does not have to be exactly 15 degrees. I've said that a million times. I know nobody believes me. It's simple and easy to use one of these new machines that's got the grinding stones on either side, and you're sharpening it and it's like, it's perfect, but you should still know how to sharpen freehand. That's my 2 cents. A man should know how to sharpen a knife, learn how to sharpen a knife, then use one of those fancy blade sharpeners. I really recommend that. That's my 2 cents. Moving over, we still use the 1x30 Harbor Freight. I built a big stand for this, but basically it's, 120 grit belt. For customs, we go a step further and we go down to 8 micron, and then we hone every edge, but we take customs to 8 micron and polish that edge out. Just pops hairs off like you wouldn't believe, but it's all freehand, no jigs. Super old school, but it works really well. Basically, I just built this huge heavy wall. It's like 3/8 plate on the floor, like 3/8 steel 6-inch tubing, 3/4 inch top, and then I actually packed this full of concrete before I welded the top on. So this stand itself is probably 150 pounds with this little tiny grinder on there, so it works really well. And then I have a light that faces me. That way I can see the burr when I'm sharpening really well. So that's imperative that you have good lighting when you're sharpening. So that's our sharpening setup. We've got a few miscellaneous bench grinders. We still grind all of our bevels. We grind like a lot of production bevels and stuff with a jig. I still freehand grind all my custom stuff. I just grinded on this old school grinder that I built probably 10 years ago now. That's actually how I met Chris from Wilmont Grinders. He was complimenting me on the grinder that I built, because I had built it and I did a short work in progress on, I think it was like Blade Forums or Jersey Devil or something like that. I manually machined this aluminum monstrosity. We lovingly call it the baby eater, because it's 5 horsepower, which is like ridiculous for a grinder. And you can't kill this thing. I mean, you will literally break the belt before you stall the machine. But it's worked really well for the last 10 years for us, so we still use it. And then we've got another triple arm grinder from Wilmont that we run horizontal. It's always in the horizontal setup, although we do have the hinge plate on it in case we're super busy and we need another vertical. We can rotate this up. So that was a really killer idea on Chris's part for like having a vertical horizontal setup all in one. But as I get further along in business and everything, I realize that you really should have a dedicated tool for every job that you do. So that's been really big for us. It's been super helpful to have a couple of verticals, a couple of horizontals, and always be set up that way. So hopefully that gives you guys some insight into our grinding setup, our sharpening, how we do it. Go check out Wilmont Grinders for their grinders. Don't build your own grinder. You can if you want. It's a good way to learn how to do things, learn to get your hands dirty and really know how to do things, but it's so much better to just buy it and make knives. I mean, what would you rather be doing, making a grinder or making knives? I'd say you should be making knives, because that's why we do what we do. So hey, take care. Make sure you check out our website. Make sure that you smash that subscribe button down below so that you can follow us and see all the cool new videos that we're planning on putting out. Now that I've got a little bit more free time, I can do some more of these videos. Website is www.jakehobackknives.com. Check out our Instagram and our Facebook. Make sure you're following us. Appreciate you guys. God bless.